Round 2 of the NHL Playoffs is underway, and the storylines are already cooking. One man has become public enemy number 1 after taking out the other team's goalie. Fans are still shockingly pissed about officiating, and another man is on an all-time playoff heater that was sparked by a revenge tour. Whether you expected this start or not, the playoffs are on fire. So let's break down all the strategies and storylines for round 2 of the NHL Playoffs so far. Let's get right into it with the Battle of the Atlantic. The Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Florida Panthers. 2 years ago, the Leafs finally made it past the first round, only to be spanked in 5 games by the Panthers. This year, while both teams try and play the underdog role to fire themselves up, the Panthers are the favorites, with them being the defending Cup champs. Now, tactically, the key to this series is simple. How can each team handle each other's forecheck? Both the Leafs and Panthers play 1-2-2, but the Panthers are just more efficient in their execution. They dump the puck in more than anyone, and they recover pucks better than the entire league. The Leafs under Craig Berube have shifted to this system, and this style has them back in round 2 against the very team they want to emulate. And not even 30 seconds into the game, the Leafs get to their game plan. They dump it in, Pacioretty's first to the puck, and Nylander, as the F3, picks up the rim. Will Nye, the science guy, comes down the wall and catches Officer Bob with his legs open. Good traffic by Tavares too. Bob gets caught in that relaxed stance, and Nylander makes it 1-zip. Now, it's been well documented that the offense from the blue line was a weakness for Toronto in the regular season. They ranked dead last in the NHL in terms of goals scored by defensemen, but the Leafs D in this one were humming. Look at Ekman Larsson. He activates up in the rush to give Pacioretty an option. Tavares again is making a solid play without the puck. He takes 2 players out with a strong net drive. The rebound's out in front, and Will Nye, the science guy, again double dips on one knee too over Bob. The Leafs are hot right out of the gate. However, the Panthers, they take a page out of the LA Kings book on the power play. Like the Oilers, the Leafs play a PK that has a triangle +1 formation, which has the one player applying pressure up top while forcing the play to one side of the ice. The way the Kings bypassed this against the Oilers was they used puck movement behind the net to get all 4 killers to collapse and then kicked it back up high where the puck carrier now has space to step in. Florida is going to do just that. Watch Marner here as the +1. He does a good job at keeping the play to one side, and then the triangle is going to take away the rest of the options. Florida is going to decide to go down low and use below the goal line to change sides. Leafs PK collapses to protect the net, so Florida goes high to the point, and look at all the space. Seth Jones gets the Panthers on the board, but again, the Leafs D is stepping up. First, Morgan Rielly on the 2-on-1 converts, and then Chris Tanev with a little knuckle puck action gives the Leafs a 4-1 lead. Leaf fans know a 4-1 lead, there's nothing that can go wrong, right? But then things turn upside down. There's a scramble in front of the net, and Anthony Stolarz goes down. What happened? Well, it ends up looking like Bennett the Menace gives Stolarz a little forearm shiver while skating through the crease. Just a weird play because at first, it didn't look so bad or even intentional, but when you slow it down and look at it in multiple angles, you see old Benny Boy do the little accidentally on purpose action with that forearm shiver. Strangely similar to the little Marchand play last year where he gave him a little jab as he was coming to hit him, and he ended up knocking him out for the series. Stolarz stayed in the game for a few minutes afterwards, and then the cameras caught him puking on the bench, and he had to leave the game to go to the hospital. That's got signs of concussion written all over it, so Giuseppe Wonderwall has to step in cold turkey and hold the fort for Toronto. But the Panthers get too early in the third to make everyone's butthole pucker up. However, the X factor, Matthew Knies, gets a breakaway and goes backhand roof for what would eventually be the game winner. Florida does get a late one, but Toronto holds on to take game 1. Now, we were lucky enough to go to this game. The Yacht Club stayed home, the true fans were out, and we got to experience the electricity of the NHL playoffs thanks to SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best app for finding deals on tickets by rating them on a scale of 1 to 10 so you know if you're getting a good deal. If it's red, no bueno. If it's green, that's a gem and you should snatch up those tickets. SeatGeek is hooking you up with 15% off whether you're a new customer or not. Personally, I use SeatGeek all throughout the season to see the Leaf Cup parade live and in person. And since seeing the Leafs advance past the first round is more rare than seeing a solar eclipse, I'm using SeatGeek to get right in there for the second round and watch them take on the Panthers. Now, if you want to see your team in the NHL playoffs live and on a discount, you can click the link in our description and use the code HOCKEY15 to get 15% off your next tickets. So make sure you get in on the action by clicking the link down below and get the best seats in the house while scoring a great deal from SeatGeek. Now, obviously, the story after Game 1 was the Sam Bennett hit. Leaf fans were printing wanted posters and handing it out downtown. He doesn't get any supplemental discipline, so the fans are pissed off, but Berube's message to the team is to move on. So in Game 2, Stolarz is out, and in steps Giuseppe Wonderwall for the Leafs. Out of the gates, Stripes is calling penalties. The Leafs, they go 0 for 2 off the bat, then Florida gets one, and 5 seconds in, Barkov just steps in and says that's how you do it. He keeps it simple. Similar to that Game 1 look where they decide to go below the goal line, Barkov just chooses to rip it and it beats Wall. Then the Leafs go back on the power play and get to the fundamentals. The second unit comes out, says screw that drop pass stuff. They dump it in and send 2 guys heavy on the forecheck. The Leafs get possession, go low to high, and it's the curse buster. Number 67, Max Pacioretty with the tip-top bunk to beat Bob and tie it. It's 1-1 going into the second, but not without Brad Marchand doing what he does best. The Rat King is starting to cook something up. Little face-to-face stare down with Scott Laughton. However, he doesn't try to lick him this time, so we're all good. But Marchand, he thrives in the chaos, so he comes out in the first minute of the second and scores. Textbook Florida forecheck 2. The F1 forces the play around the net into the trap of F2. It's a turnover, and it's in the net. 2-1 Panthers just like that. But the Leafs D continue to step up in this game. Look at this last-second poke check from Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Call him Oliver Ekman-Longstick because that catches 2 Panthers caught diving deep. It's Pacioretty to Nylander and in. Slick pair of hands there too. Skate to stick, chip shot, and we're all tied. Then get a load of this. The refs put on a show. Scott Laughton drills Evan Rodriguez from behind. Stripes says quick crying you faker and gives Rodriguez 2 minutes for embellishment. That's a new one straight out of the Stevie Wonder handbook I see. Intensity starts to ramp up and Leafs get a fast break. 2-on-1. Max Domi finishes. Leafs Nation is going nuts as Dad Ty says settle down, and again this goal happens because a D for Toronto and Riley activates, creates a numbers advantage, and makes a play into the middle. The Leafs are up 3-2 going into the third, but Florida's third line of Luostarinen, Lundell, and Marchand continues to be a problem. Ekblad throws it in front and Lundell gets things back to even. Not even 20 seconds later, Marner is going to float one from Mars. Officer Bob picks it up late because of the traffic, and it goes post and in. Are these actually the Leafs? I mean, what's going on right now? Down by 1, you know the Panthers are going to press. They come down Main Street. Sam Miskevich gets a glorious opportunity, and no, it's the toe. Remi Faso from Joseph Wonderwall. Build the wall because the Leafs hang on, and they take it 4-3 to go up 2-0 against the defending Cup champs. What parallel universe did we just walk into here? This series is far from over, but the Leafs are beating the Panthers at their own game. So they head to Sunrise with a chance to go up 3-0, and that means that the Leaf Cup parade is officially on as of right now. Now on to Washington versus Carolina, the Metro matchup that had a ton of bad blood in the regular season that saw a UFC takedown between Chatfield and McMichael has sparked beef between these two teams, and they're going head-to-head in round 2. Now, if there's any team that can overwhelm you with pressure like the Florida Panthers, it's the Carolina Hurricanes. Like Florida, Carolina dumps in the puck a lot, and when they get it, their shoot and retrieve style can lead to long periods of extended ozone time. The first period of this game was a lot of that. Carolina outshot Washington 12-5 and gave the Caps fits in their own end on the breakout. The Hurricanes D are aggressive down the walls. When the puck is in the corner and there's a 50-50 battle, the D like to short the zone and just make it claustrophobic for the team on the breakout. So how do you bypass this type of pressure? Well, one way is through tight support and overloading one side of the ice. Watch here as the left wing or far side winger on Washington slashes across on the breakout. With how aggressive Carolina's D are on the walls, he's the one that's able to take the brunt of the pinching D, and that opens up all kinds of space underneath for the support and the right winger to come up through the gut. The breakout is executed flawlessly, and Alexei Protas, that Belarusian bear, tells Freddie Anderson to check his angles as the Caps go up 1-0 despite being outplayed. But again, the Carolina pressure just continues to overwhelm Washington. In this game, the Hurricanes doubled the Caps in ozone time and nearly tripled them in shot attempts. Their game is simple. They create a turnover on the forecheck, funnel shots on net, and then are first to the 50-50 puck to repeat. When they finally do get possession, they'll use these frequent rims to change sides and force the defenders to chase. With Washington spending this much time on their heels, it was inevitable before they made a mistake. 10 minutes left in the third, the Caps go to break out the puck, and just look at all the immediate pressure pressure and traps. First is a Carolina attacker right in the puck carrier's face. The F3 can either hug the boards or cut off that lane and jump in if there's a mistake. The D on the far side is again shorting the zone and playing tight to that winger so that if there is any potential slash out option, there's a Carolina defender right in his face to snuff it out. With all these traps in every direction, the Caps force a play into the middle. It's bobbled, and look who's there. Mr. Stanky Leg, Logan Stankoven. He goes top shelf, and Carolina has finally tied it. Credit to the Hurricanes too. They stay patient in their game and they get rewarded. So this one is going to need OT, and to no surprise, it follows the Carolina formula perfectly. First, good puck protection on the wall, and again, once they have possession, there's that rim play that we see. Washington's structure has to flex out, and right away the Carolina defender just rims it back in deep. Now the Caps are chasing. They go low to high, and Slavin has all kinds of time to take a point shot because Washington's structure can't move faster than the puck. You throw things on net even if it takes 100 tries, and eventually one finds a way, and it does for Carolina as Jacob Slavin gets the OT winner, and the Hurricanes take a 1-0 series lead. Now, I do expect the Caps to have much more of a response to Carolina's pressure in Game 2. Although to Washington's credit, they had a couple really good chances of their own off the forecheck that could have changed the game. Now, if the Caps play on their toes and get their forecheck game going, I think they'll be just fine. But that's if they can get past Carolina's pressure, and as we saw in Game 1, it's way easier said than done. Another side note is that the Hurricanes are the only team left in the NHL playoffs to still remain perfect on the penalty kill. They've killed off 17 straight penalties, including 2 in this game. From top to bottom, it was a tactical masterclass from the Hurricanes Game 1, but we'll see what Carberry and the Caps cook up for Game 2. Now on to the West, where it's the Edmonton Oilers versus the Vegas Golden Knights. This is another rematch from 2 years ago. McDavid versus Eichel, 1 and 2 in the 2016 NHL entry draft, and every chance they get, both of these two are going to be matched up on the ice. Now, one thing about the Edmonton Oilers this year is that they hate starting games with the lead, and it's just not a part of their game plan. In their last 4 games, they've all gotten scored on first, and it's the same thing with Game 1. Vegas, with their top 3 power play, starts to work its magic. We talked about this before on the channel, but Shea Theodore from the point in these playoffs has been dynamite. Vegas has so many options with Eichel on the left flank, but with Shea Theodore having a more shoot mentality in these playoffs, he's having success. So he throws one on net. It goes off of the LTIR legend Mark Stone and in. 1-0 Vegas. Stone, he isn't done there though. Vegas, 5 minutes later, comes down on the rush. Eichel over to Stone. He sees Corey Perry trying to play defense and says, let's have some fun. He lets him go for the slip and slide. See you later, pal, and tells Calvin Picker to close his legs. It's 2-0 for the Golden Knights, but you gotta know with this Edmonton Oilers team that no lead is safe. Like I said from the top, Vegas is going to do whatever they can to match up Eichel with McDavid, and the reason why is because he's one of the very few players on this earth who can keep up with McDavid in terms of skating. But late in the first, Edmonton is able to get the McDavid and Draisaitl line out there without Eichel on the ice, and here's how dangerous it can be on this play. 3 Vegas players get caught below this line here, but McDavid is still technically behind 2 of them, and with one beautiful stretch pass to create a 2-on-2, absolutely no one on the ice can catch McDavid as the third man. It suddenly turns into a 3-on-2, and he works his magic. Corey Perry, 40 years old, by the way, he still got the mitts. In the second period, there's no score, and we go to the third. It's still 2-1 for Vegas, and the McDavid train starts chugging, yet Eichel's right there with him. But take a peek at Draisaitl, who's ahead of McDavid, and purposely locks onto Eichel to run a little bit of interference. Draisaitl isn't even looking at the play either. He's got his eyes set on Eichel, and he's trying to clear room for McDavid, and he just runs enough of a pick to give McDavid some breathing room from Eichel. That gives him enough time and space to stop up, find the boosh bomb. It takes a funny hop, and Draisaitl, the German doctor, surgical with the hand-eye. He ties the game, and it makes Aiden Hill sick. Now, not only did the Oilers find a way to free McDavid from Eichel, but they shut him down in the latter half of the game as well. Any controlled zone entry, the Oilers had numbers and back pressure all over him to make sure plays were killed early. Similar to McDavid, Eichel likes to get going with a whole lot of steam, but Edmonton, they did a great job of keeping players above him so that when he does get the puck, he's got very little time to make a play. Turnovers inside the offensive blue line really hurt Vegas in the Minnesota series, and it cost them again here. Brandon Saad loses the puck inside the blue line. Oilers get going the other way, and Shaq Hyman, what's that guy doing scoring goals from range? I thought he was the so-called tap-in merchant. He goes upstairs, and the Oilers have a late 3-2 lead. Edmonton defended brilliantly in the last 40 minutes of this game. They only allowed 2 shots when even strength. They tracked the puck incredibly well, and their zone coverage did a great job of blocking shots, and one of them eventually led to the dagger by downtown Connor Brown. This guy is just money in the playoffs, and the Oilers take Game 1 to become the first team in NHL history with 5 consecutive comeback wins in the playoffs. Myself, along with many others, didn't think that this Oilers team would go deep based on injuries and goaltending. With how well their depth is playing right now, it's a really good sign. As much as McDavid and Draisaitl need to be their best players, they will only go all the way if they have their support cast chipping in. This one's going to be a long series, but for now, it's 1-0 Oilers. Finally, we go to the Winnipeg Jets versus the Dallas Stars. Both of these teams are coming off incredible comebacks, making NHL history, and both are getting back reinforcements. The Jets get back Scheifele for Game 1, and the Stars get back Jason Robertson. Now for Winnipeg, their fans are hoping that the MVP Hellebuck also returns. There was a ton of noise in round 1, and justifiably so with his play, but when he needed to, he shut her down and got the win in Game 7. He also said that after that Game 7 win, it felt like the weight lifted off of his shoulders. So we jump into it in the first period. Both tendies get tested, and both of them step up to the plate to make some big saves. Hellebuck, though, he looked sharper than he had all of round 1, which is a good sign. Now, the big battle in this series will be special teams. Winnipeg had the #1 power play in the league, while Dallas had the second best penalty kill, and their aggression is just so hard to shake. Playing the diamond, the Stars are really good at dealing with the 1v2 disadvantage down low. Anytime there's a pass to the goal line, they make sure to take away that cross-seam option right away. They know the importance of this since their power play uses it more than anyone to score goals. They kill off 2 penalties in the first, and it's scoreless going into the second. Then, the Jets take advantage of the long change. Only 2 Dallas players are back to cover the rush. Little bump play to Uncle Nino. He goes backhand Billy and gives the Jets a 1-0 lead. But unfortunately for Jets fans, this is the Mikko Rantanen revenge run. Dallas gets a gorgeous look off the one-timer. Rebound pops out on Rantanen while falling down. Little one-handed poke like Nuno stoking the fire on Christmas. That's one. You think he's done there? Think again. Dallas throws one on net, and look at this deflection. Is this guy for real right now? Everything he's touching is turning into gold. That tip's perfect too. Really no chance for Hellebuck. And when you're hot, you're hot. Dallas heads to the power play. Rantanen gets another look. He tries to feed Hintz. It ends up going off of Sandberg and in. Lucky to be good, good to be lucky. This guy has back-to-back hat tricks. And the Colorado Avalanche management is going to want to go into hiding for the next 8 years of that Rantanen deal in Dallas. On top of that, it was a natural hat trick to boot. Now, the Jets are down 3-1 in the third, but then they start to find their game. Sometimes, a great forecheck doesn't need to be physical, but it needs to be fast and calculated. First, Connor comes bombing in with speed, and that forces Ben to cut back. Then Velarde's going to come in quickly to cut off the wall play while Connor starts to dive back in. The sheer speed overwhelms Ben, it's a turnover, and Scheifele gets the Jets within 1. Now it's full throttle for Winnipeg. Goalie pulled, maybe another Manitoba miracle. Puck squirts out. It's complete madness. All 5 Stars are spread eagle trying to keep the puck out. Andre loses his glove, stick. It's a yard sale, yet the puck doesn't go in. Dallas finds a way to hold on in Game 1 and win 3-2. Jake Ottinger was lights out for the Stars in this one. He stopped 29 of 31, but of course the story is still Rantanen. The Moose is loose and it's terrorizing the NHL. He's factored in on his team's last 12 goals, and that is the longest streak in NHL playoff history. He leads the NHL playoffs in scoring, and he's a man possessed right now. As for Winnipeg, they got to find an answer on their power play. 0 for 4 on the night, and in a series this tight, it'll likely be the difference maker. If they continue to go 0 for, it'll be very hard for them to win this series. So, what do you think of round 2 so far? Who surprised you? Who pissed you off? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you want to see breakdowns on every NHL playoff game, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a thing.